Hello everyone, welcome back to some more Pathfinder. We are leaving once again. I think I want to go with the same team. You still have con damage? Interesting. Here, I'll bring you up. Just so we can make sure that that gets taken care of. Okay. Alright, so, armies. There we go. Okay. 19 additional clerics. Still level 5. I don't think I want to wait anymore. I'm just gonna go for it. What do we got? A bunch of frontline fighters. Some... Oh god, I skipped my turn. Gosh darn it. Oh shit, these Hell Knights are on horses. Oh, that's pretty cool. Shit. Let's do Shield of Faith on you. Fire again. Yeah. Get the hell out of here. Dude. Smite evil. No problem, no problem. Yeah, we kind of got this one in the bag. And here I was worried. Well, I feel silly now, don't I? Yeah, get out of here. Very cool. Let's do lay hands on self. Another victory for the Crusaders. Good old Reggie. The cultists protected their caravan and valuable supplies to the death, but the Crusaders prevailed. It seems that the demon worshippers plundered the treasures from nearby Sarkorian ruins. 1,500 finance points. Oh wait, was that not the? That's not the demon army. Wait. Wait, what? Oh, maybe that's the demon army across the. Oh, okay. I misread that. But since we just had a victory, we can actually wait a couple days if we wanted to. But I mean, we might as well, I guess, you know, move forward. What was this camp? Oh, this is the camp that popped up after we found that random camp with the note on it, right? That was like, "Come find me."
The pleasantries.
There you go. There she come. Okay, so now we want to do.
Where else would I be?
How long does Blur last? A minute per level.
Now, the waiting's never fun.
Okay, and then we don't have. Oh no, we do have mage armor.
Yes. Yes. Never stop learning.
Okay, so we got some basic
Keep your
boofs.
calm.
Is that a kobold? A page? Oh! Elven text. Okay, I think I just used all these for nothing. The aged kobold, sitting by the small campfire, greets you with an amicable gesture. He doesn't reach for his weapon or hiss threateningly. All in all, his behavior is highly unusual for one of his kind. His clothes look quite unusual, too. Not many kobolds opt for human clothing, nor do they adorn their possessions with spikes or scales. Greetings, my name is Krenuk. I am all alone here, so you may safely come closer. He speaks smoothly, without the usual kobold hissing. Moving slightly aside, the kobold points to the carcass of a small animal on a stick roasting over the fire. Dinner will be ready soon. Was it you who left that note? Of course. Who else could it be? I wanted to make sure you were interested in the information I can provide. And who are you? As I've already mentioned, my name is Krenuk, at your service. The kobold offers a short bow, an unusual gesture for one of his kind to make. As a rule, kobolds do not express their respect to anyone other than dragons. I am a traveler and a friend to the Crusade. I could be your friend too, if you are tolerant towards kobolds. Krenuk utters the word tolerant with shocking ease, as if he is something other than the narrow-minded and savage subterranean beast you expect him to be. Kobolds are infamous for worshipping dragons and despising all other races, and few of them would ever understand the concept of tolerance, let alone subscribe to it. Did you just say tolerance? Are you sure you're a kobold? Ah, so you saw through my disguise. Wait, what? Krenuk tried to mislead you with sweet words and then ambush you. Which then, okay. The kobold utters a loud hiss, which then morphs into an amused chuckle. Of course I am a kobold. Trust me, you are not the first to be shocked after hearing me speak and realizing that I'm not going to rob or kill you. Oh yes, I am scaredy kobold. I'm lucky. If representatives of other races want to be seen as intellectuals or decent conversationalists, they have to read a lot of books, refine their manners, possess a passing knowledge of classical theater, and douse themselves in fine perfume. Whereas in my case, all I have to do is not lunge at you with a spear or hiss every other word. Huh. I killed a lot of these in the first Pathfinder game. What are you cooking? Judging by its ears and its hind legs, it's a hare. The kobold casts a dubious glance at the animal's mouth, which boasts a set of huge teeth. Or maybe it's a tiger. Depends on your point of view, I suppose. Okay, Obi-Wan. How can we do this? Kobold 1 Kenobi? No. Obi-Wan Kobold Nobi? Gotta workshop it. What do you want from me? I want nothing from you. I'm asking for nothing. I'm simply offering help. I sympathize with your cause, so I would like to provide whatever support I can from time to time. Does that work for you? How can you help me? With advice, mostly. Throughout my life, I've seen a lot, and a piece of timely advice can be extremely valuable. Don't you agree? Of course, if your advisor is a kobold, the merits are not so obvious. But you're in luck. This kobold right here has extensive knowledge of a variety of matters that you may find useful someday. After some thought, he nods towards the campfire. One more thing. I have to offer... one more thing I have to offer is this hair after it's cooked. How do you know so much about demons? Krenuk gives you a long and heavy look. I've had some experience with them. I don't want to go into the details right now. All I'm saying is that after a rather short and not even hostile encounter with them, I stopped eating meat for several years. So what's the catch? No catch. I am acting for wholly altruistic reasons, but my motives are something I would rather not reveal. Krenuk turns his face to you, and his wrinkles become more visible in the glow of the fire. We just met 5 minutes ago. Don't you think it's too early to expect complete candor just yet? As I have already told you, I am a friend of the Crusade. You can choose to trust me, or you can leave. I offer help and ask nothing in return. So the question is simple. Will you accept the claw of a friendship from a stranger, or is your distrust stronger than your need for help? Listen, we can use any help out there. Krenuk nods agreeably. Then we have a deal. You won't regret your decision. Just drop by my camp every now and then so we can have a word. Perhaps I'll be able to give you some useful tips. Pulling out a small knife, the traveler carefully cuts off 2 strips of meat from the roasted hare. He throws one into his toothy maw while graciously offering the other to you. A strange animal for sure, but it seems edible. The energies of the world would mask everything in illusion. Harmless-looking animals try to eat you for dinner, dangerous paths appear to be straight roads, and your enemies. Sometimes your enemies can look like your friends. Krenuk squints and looks deeply into your eyes. Have you ever been in a situation like this? First you think a person is your friend and ally, but then the scales fall from your eyes and you realize they are actually your sworn enemy. So you catch this person, you tie them up, and then you start thinking, how should you treat them now? Like your enemy? Like your former friend? It's hard to decide. What would you do if one of your friends turned out to be a traitor? That's very specific. Are you talking about someone specific? Wow, your question reeks of paranoia. No, I'm not talking about anyone specific. And I'm not implicating anyone. I'm sorry, it seems my joke has spoiled your sleep for the next few nights. Well, I try to find out what would force the traitor to reveal the truth about their real masters, then do whatever that is. What if you have to threaten them with the death of their family? Or what if you have to grant mercy to someone truly despicable? You don't have to answer. I can tell by your eyes that you're willing to do whatever it takes. And that is correct. If you catch a villain, don't rush to put a noose around their neck. First learn everything they have to tell you. As for principles and morality, you better stuff them in your deepest pocket. And don't bandy them about without good reason. I liked your answer. You obviously think with your head and don't just parrot the instructions of others. And again, if we're discussing traitors, it's fortunate that betrayal is not reserved for mortals alone. Demons stab each other in the back far more frequently. The rumor is that there are at least 2 demon stashes within Dresden, filled with arms and supplies that were stolen by Discarites from Baphomeites, and vice versa. One of them is near the entrance to the fortress, while the other one lies by the entrance to the citadel. Where did you learn that? Gossip, hearsay. The world is an ocean of chatter, and I'm quite a skilled fisherman. Well, that is valuable. Of course it is. I wouldn't waste your time. Cracking his knuckles, Krenuk gives you an inquisitive look. I hope that when the time comes for you to make real decisions instead of hypothetical ones, your wisdom won't fail you. Just one bad choice can turn a revered leader into a disgraced pariah. I've seen it happen before. I've lived through something like that. My tribe suffered a disaster caused by just one bad choice. Can you even imagine? The kobold squints sadly, his shoulders slumping a bit. With a sigh, he begins to talk. I don't like telling this story, but it might be useful for you to know it. Perhaps it will serve as a warning. Krenuk clears his throat and starts talking in a sonorous voice that reveals his experience as a bard. I was born into the mighty and proud tribe of the Night Ruby. Our caves are vast, our mine shafts were rich in quartz and metals, and our underground lakes were brimming with fish. And of course, we had plenty of slaves. The Night Ruby was a model of kobold success. It was a tight-knit, greedy, and aggressive tribe that intimidated even a few of the nearby human settlements. But there was a flaw underlying our power. Once, long ago, a leader of our tribe signed a pact with the devils, promising them the soul of every tribe member in exchange for help and prosperity. Since then, every new All-Watcher had to agree to the pact, and the power of the tribe grew, as did the number of lost souls. It was like that until our leader, Ermac, came to power. She was a principled and proud elder who didn't want to bend the knee to hell, so she refused to sign the pact, and all kinds of calamities befell our tribe. The tribe was attacked by its neighbors at the devil's instigation. Epidemics broke out, then our slaves rebelled. They came after their former masters in the dead of night. Our clutches of eggs were ravaged, our altars were desecrated, and our warriors were slain in their burrows. The slaves paid us in full for our cruelty and arrogance. They hunted us, chasing us down through the caves and mine shafts level by level. When we were finally left alone, we had no idea where we were. All we saw around us was darkness, and lurking in that darkness were bloodthirsty and dangerous predators. After raising his voice dramatically, Krenuk suddenly stops, then he adds with a teasing smile, I think this moment is enough of a cliffhanger to stop here. Got questions about demons? My helpful knowledge is at your disposal. What's their main weakness? It's a fact that they are hostages to their own nature, and by their nature, demons are just a bunch of mad apes, a grotesque parody of ordinary chaos. You don't need to make a bunch of apes angry. You just give them one of them a banana and arm the other with a stick. They'll kill each other without your direct intervention. Do you know anything about wounds inflicted by demons that first appear, then disappear, and later reappear again? Do I need to resort to platitudes such as, the weirdest tricks could be expected from demons? Or can I just skip that part? I've never heard anything like you're describing, but new sorts of nasty stuff appear in the world wound every day. However, if we think about it some more, don't you think that this wound doesn't cause enough trouble to be something the demons did to you on purpose? When you're hit by the magic of the abyss, you know instantly that death is coming your way, and fast. Everything is clear to me. That's a bold statement. Have you heard of my powers? I've heard you're either extremely lucky, or quite the opposite. You survived the massacre in Canabras just to spearhead a new suicide mission. On the other hand, you survived then, and most likely you will survive now. Good luck in this noble endeavor. Okay. I guess we'll come back to you. Krenuk.
There are many
Krenuk the
roads
Kobold.
to success.
Didn't think that I would be teaming up with the Kobold. Interesting.
I will guide.
Okay, I guess nothing over there. Huh. Heaven's Edge. Ah, yes, of course. Oh, no. All your characters are fatigued. We should probably sleep. Night's Watch, yes please. Alchemy. Darren. And me. Scroll scribing. I don't know if we really need to scribe any scrolls right now. So let's go back up to Night's Watch and just do there. Okay.
What's the
I
alcohol
probably should look
situation
at the other
underground?
recipes.
Do you have anything to drown your sorrows in?
You bet. Mold brew is a gourmet's dream. And tourists from Absalom used to come to us for our mushroom infusion.
Really? Interesting. Fail to weaken the impact of corruption. We're doomed. Alright, Heaven's Edge. The home of Darren. Darren?
My not so numerous, but
wow.
nonetheless dearest guests. About a year ago at my last birthday party, I assured you all that I nurtured a deep-seated hatred for boring people who give protracted speeches in the misplaced belief that their inner thoughts are of any interest to anyone but themselves. Now I am a whole year older and also a full-fledged crusader, an honorable position that requires me to be as dull, pedantic, and vexing as I possibly can. Therefore, a speech it is.
Oh boy.
The revered cleric Nestrin, my guardian and tutor, often told me that those who live a sinful life may expect to join the abyssal hordes after they die. This is why their path is the most despicable of all. A part of their soul may return to Mendev in the abominable form of a demonic invader. Every time we see a demon, we might as well think about it. What if this wretched creature used to be your great-great-grandfather? What if certain parts of this pointy-tailed beauty used to belong to your pious cousin? They say that the demons represent the sins of the souls they are made of. Succubi emerge out of lustful souls. Vandals turn into Abracandilu. Gluttons become Nabasu. I, for one, am determined to commit as many different sins as possible, so that the distributive mechanism of the abyss breaks when it tries to decide what to do with my soul.
An interesting plan.
You, my dearest guests, will be my assistants in this complicated task. Eat, drink, and indulge yourselves in whatever vices you can. Let nobody leave this house as righteous as they entered it. Live every day like it's your last. After all, nobody knows when that day will arrive, do they?
Okay. Reggie's over here like, oh god, parties. How interesting. Alright, did you find anything interesting? Nothing really. I just took note of a few things. I attempted to find out whether anything unusual or mysterious has happened to the Count over the last 10 years. During my conversations with his acquaintances, 2 people noted that he never speaks of the revered Nestrin, the priest of Iomade, who was his guardian and tutor. Yet he just mentioned Nestrin in his speech. Whatever that might mean. You told me that you tried to find out if anything odd has happened. Some of his servants complained about strange occurrences in the house, like objects moving by themselves or candles going out. Of course, that could simply be a figment of their imagination. It is also very well known that the Count often invites various spellcasters to entertain him, and encourages them to use their magic in mischievous ways. Practically the whole Mendev knows the story about the 3 drunk wizards and their teleportation race across the roofs of Canabras after a party at the Count's house. What I'm trying to say here is that any fluctuations in residual magic at his house are not at all surprising. There was the matter of the abduction, however. A gang of bandits kidnapped the Count hoping for a ransom, but the only reward they got was death. Afterward, the Count told everyone that he had hired the bandits himself as a joke. The other mercenary squad that freed him and executed the bandits was also in his employ. Nobody really wanted to delve too deep into this case after confirming the identities of those wretched cutthroats. But there was one disturbing fact about it all, and I don't mean the Count's bizarre idea of fun. The mercenaries who supposedly freed him had also cut off the bandits' heads after they had already killed them. Their heads were cut off? You mean the bandits who attacked Darren? Yes. Perhaps I wouldn't have even noticed this detail had I not visited Heaven's Edge right after the tragic incident. I remember that we also found several headless bodies, both of guests and demons. We thought they had been decapitated during the fight. You know, I have had a random head in my pack. That happened. My companions have been finding severed heads. Oh, there we go. Strangely, things like this weren't a problem before Damer joined the party. What? Well, that is an alarming coincidence. Now we have another reason to conduct an investigation. It is crucial that we find out exactly what happened at the tragic feast. So what do we do? Now that's the hardest part. I need to dive deep into the past of this place, which requires casting several different spells over some time. It would be very convenient for me if nobody interrupted the process, especially the Count himself. I don't think he remembers my face, but a suspicious stranger casting unknown spells might attract his attention. All in all, what I want you to do is distract the master of the house. Right now he is playing host in the very place I'd like to start with. How? I don't know. Maybe your companions can assist you somehow? Or you can look, or take a look around. Perhaps there's something that can help us? Good luck. Come back to me when the Count leaves. I will tell you everything I managed to find out, and maybe even show you something. Sure. Socio? I can imagine how lovely this manor must have been before the war. I yearned to set up my easel in one of the pleasant little alcoves.
Focus on the goal.
Decorative plants are in a miserable state. A jug of wine if used creatively may distract the Count for a while. If used creatively. Like burning something? If you get another chance to rest and have some fun in my wartime. Okay. Land? So I've somehow landed at the party of a royal brat. Go figure. Reggie? This estate could be remade into a formidable defensive outpost. It should be expropriated for the sake of the war effort and the owners compensated after victory is secured.
Watch out for trouble.
Thank you, Reggie. Brickwork looks strangely uneven. Maybe I should actually talk to Reggie when we're back at camp. We haven't done that.
Keep your calm.
A random cold iron masterwork. Okay. Just a heavy shield. Door is sealed and looks like it hasn't been opened in a very long time.
There are many roads to success.
Countess Selena Nevia Dara Arinde with her infant son Daron. Unlike typical aristocratic portraits, this one depicts a young mother having fun with her child on a seesaw. Oh.
I sense something.
Whoa! 203 diamond dusts? Clear purpose. Bracers allow the wearer to cast healing spells without provoking attacks of opportunity. They also grant a +2 bonus on concentration checks. Shit. Is that real? Okay. Okay, probably for Social then. Since Daron can just cast them at range.
I will guide.
Wow. 203 diamond dust, Jesus. Ember? This party is stupid. Usually she's so upbeat. Everything here is just so sparkly. I'm just gonna take a look at this thing and put it back. Sure. Do you remember me? I called upon you to serve the Count in Canabris. I do remember you. Okay, so no help. From my companions.
Watch out for trouble.
Okay, where is... Okay, Daron's outside?
Keep your calm.
I totally missed him. Hey, he's right there. Jesus. Walked right past him. Daron, who has been watching the guest with an unreadable expression, turns his head to you and says in a casual tone, like he's continuing a conversation that was interrupted. I've always considered myself an, aesthetic? Not a hero? I don't actually know what that word is. When Doomsday comes, I thought I'd pour myself a glass of 100-year-old wine, sit in the front row, and just watch the world burn. Playing the violin was also an option. Now I'll be damned if I know how I ended up in the 5th Crusade. How did I become a companion of a hero chosen by Omade? It was our destiny. Daron snorts and averts his eyes for a moment. Oh, do go on. Well, tell me more about Heaven's Edge. This estate was once a truly beautiful sight, with its lush gardens and placid ponds. Daron smiles briefly. It is a genuine smile, quite different from his usual half-smirk. The house itself is not that large, however. This land was part of the border region even before the world wounds, so my ancestors took that into account when laying the foundations. The larger the mansion, the harder it is to defend. I'd glad to give you a tour, but I'm afraid there's not much to see here. I didn't have much time, so my servants only managed to clean up this yard, the Great Hall, a couple of rooms. There's nothing interesting about them, except perhaps the magical firefighting system powered by water elementals. I'm not sure it's still functional, though. I guess for the wine? And did you also not mean to ruin a suit that costs more than a thoroughbred? Don't fret, I have a spare. Just you wait. When I return, I shall look even more stunning. Oh, whoops. The wine. I see that you did your part, Commander. Thank you. Now, get ready to watch and listen closely. I will unravel the past of this place and try to show you whatever I find. Okay. Countess Selena Ariende. The hum of voices, laughter, and music fills your mind. Then the visions come, fragmented and hazy at first. They eventually coalesce to reveal a single face. It is a woman of stunning, heavenly beauty, and her delicate features instantly tell you who she is. The family resemblance to Daron is obvious. My dear guests, the Lady of Heaven's Edge welcomes all of you today. I hope this day is as bright for you as it is for me, because on this day, my only precious, sometimes arrogant, but utterly beloved child was born. A child is usually a reflection of their parents and caretakers. Countess, will you allow the humble tutor of this young man to address the guests and the man of the hour as well? A new face appears. It is a handsome old man with a strong, dignified posture and a voice that emanates power. Can we have just one day without your sermons? It's my birthday after all. 10 years ago, the young Daron had an utterly angelic appearance. His table manners and expression lacked the dignity of a true angel, however. Day, I'm sure the revered Nestron only wanted to hug you and offer you his best wishes on your birthday. Wait, what was that noise?
Oh!
Lilitu. Oh! Wait. The shrill laughter rings in your ears and reverberates in the base of your skull. In the vision, a Lilitu appears. Okay, so not her. A different one. Okay. Maybe. The sorceress of evil has come to your celebration, mortals. Did you prepare a treat for me too? What do you want, spawn of the abyss? I've already done everything I've wanted to. Hey you, doddering cleric, look around. Don't you notice anything odd? The plague is in your wine, in your food, and in the air around you. In your blood. Soon you will all die. Pray to your pathetic goddess and call upon your healing powers all you want, but they are not going to help you. Nothing will help you. I will give you a chance to see it for yourselves, and when I return, the grave realization will have already sunk its teeth into your throats. Oh, how I love watching mortals in their final desperate hours. The demon finishes her speech with an air kiss to Daron, making him freeze in horror and disappears. Leotra shakes his head and slowly exhales, rubbing his temples. The first appearance of the disease and the Lilitu. One of the many sisters of the accursed Minago. So far, everything I've seen matches the official version of the events. Surely the cleric could have done something. I can't say for certain, but I believe there was nothing he could have done. Magical diseases are already difficult enough to cure, and this plague struck very fast indeed. Now, we must find out what happened next. Let's see, we have Countess Selena Ariende was Daron's mother, and one of the most beautiful women in the history of Mendev. She was an Aasimar, just like her son. The old man is the esteemed cleric Nestron, our count's guardian and tutor. He was well known for his unfaltering faith and iron will. I was only passing acquaintances with him, so I can't tell you anything more than that. I didn't recognize the others, but Daron told me that the first victims of the disease were his second cousin and the cousin's wife, hailing from the eastern border. What now? I can sense the aftershocks of a very strong outburst of emotions and memories somewhere in the west wing of the house. Something must have happened in one of those rooms, so please check if anyone is in there, distract them if need be. Lure Daron out of the room. Sorry for spilling this drink on you. Now, can you come back out here? The plague was so unimaginative.
There are many roads to success.
Reggie? It's decadence. This revelry is not rest.
I will guide.
Huh. What up, Daron? Darren arches a brow at you, but he doesn't seem to be disturbed in the slightest by your entrance. He's not trying to cover up or get dressed any faster. Commander, I assume that you have an urgent matter that requires my attention? What is this room? Darren casts a look around the room as if he had never seen it before, then shrugs carelessly. Just a random room. I told my servants to make some rooms ready. This is one of the rooms I chose. I am absolutely confident that you won't be able to persuade Camellia to dance with you. I think Sela would be the harder challenge. But I think he would be most interested if he could convince Social to draw him a nude portrait. I'm absolutely confident that you won't be able to persuade Social to draw a portrait of you. A nude portrait. Well, that sounds like a fine idea. Our cleric will surely turn down a direct request, but if I tell him that we can sell the portrait at a charity auction, why have I never before thought of selling my nude portraits at a charity auction? It will cause a huge scandal, but it will also be for a good cause. This will give those God-botherers something to complain about. You've given me a brilliant idea. He paused. He knows something's up. He knows. I see that you were able to do as I asked. Prepare yourself. This vision might be rather difficult to watch. Young Daeron stands motionless by the Countess's bed. His face is pale with fear, and for a good reason. His mother's heavenly beauty is gone. Her smile, once beaming with vitality and happiness, looks more like the grimace of a corpse. Once her golden hair still glows. Only her golden hair still glows. A sad reminder of the healthy young woman she was just a few hours ago. Mother, can you hear me, Mother? Day, my boy, how did you get here? The Countess's voice is fading. Don't come any closer. This disease. Mother, listen. The revered Nestron has sealed the gates. He says that he won't let anyone leave the estate. If the plague reaches the larger settlements, nobody will be able to stop it. He claims this is why the demons attacked us in the first place. They knew that we would call upon the strongest clerics to heal us, and those clerics would catch the disease and die as well. The fat Baron and his family tried to escape, but 3 armed paladins barred their way and said they would not let them go. Mother, we need help. Canobras is full of clerics and wizards. The demons know who else. They might know how to stop it. We need to get there as soon as possible. We must obey the revered Nestron. We are the lords of Mindev, and we must protect our people. If it reaches Canobras, thousands of innocent people will die. I don't care about any innocents. You're ill, Mother. You're dying. You must tell them to open the gates and take you to Canobras. They won't listen to me, but you are the lady of the state. They can't refuse you. I can't. I must. Please leave, my dearest. Don't lose hope. You can still... A convulsion overtakes the Countess's body. Her last words are swallowed by a long, guttural groan. Now I have an answer to one of my many questions. Nobody went to Canobras in search for help because the revered Nestron didn't let them. He valued the safety of the city more than the lives of his flock at the estate. What a difficult choice it must have been. Honestly, I mean, I think he made the right choice. There's no other way. I'm almost certain that Count Daeron has another opinion on this matter. A very, very strong one. I've never been in the revered Nestron's position, but I know the price of difficult decisions, especially those that you have to make quickly. I have no right to judge him, but we must continue our investigation. The next site I'd like to examine is the Great Hall. That is where we found the remains of Nestron and the demons. I assume that he killed them in the confrontation, but we must make sure of that. Please help me clear the area so I can study it. Occupy Daeron's attention in the hall. Alright.
Focus on the goal.
Stop trying to talk me into this. You have neither heart nor conscience, Daeron. Even the noble idea of charity becomes a farce when you touch it. I'm sorry, Socio.
Watch out for trouble.
Alright, I guess we just talk to Darren. There's a feverish gleam to Darren's eyes, owing to either tipsiness or some overabundance of emotion. Ho there, Tokshin. That rot associate refused to sketch me in the nude for charity, but it didn't upset me too much. The faces he made while I was explaining the idea to him were well worth it. He looked very much like a pious matron being confronted with a talking male organ, one that was 2 foot long and being held aloft by a pair of golden angel wings. Okay. How are you enjoying my party? Are you having a good time? What about you, Darren? Are you having any fun? Of course I'm having fun. What's wrong? Do you want me to spend my whole life in fear and mourning, blaming myself for what happened? Fine, let's change the subject. I thought the unique ambience of Heaven's Edge and the fact that we're on the very border with the World Wound would make this celebration special. I thought the past would resurface and make itself known. Well, it seems even ghosts don't wish to attend my parties anymore. What can we do to liven up the evening? No, we're not here to confront him. I think it's time for a drinking contest. Ah, yes, the tried and trusted method for salvaging a dull party. For salvaging anything, actually. I am ready, but who's my competition? Someone with probably a lot of constitution, I would guess. Sela will fight for the honor of the paladins. She does drink. Yes, sir, Commander. Darren, my boy, you still got time to back out. You don't want Auntie Sela to spank you in front of everyone now, do you? What do you do if I win? Are you going to cry and pray to Iomade for an alcohol resistance aura? Now that would be something we're seeing. Let's drink until one of us falls unconscious or begs for mercy. Skull! 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 That was just a little warm-up, I say. Up for more. The fear of your inevitable defeat has already got the better of you, Darren. I can see it in your eyes, boy. Come on, let's have another round. Will this be the one that knocks you flat? Falling in battle against such a worthy opponent won't even bruise my ego, especially if you carry me upstairs to bed afterward. I will cheer for Sela. I won't let you down, just watch. Whoa, are we done here or are you ready for another round? Damn. Damn, look at those bottles. To whom should I dedicate this glorious feat? Putting the haughty self-absorbed prick of a count in this place. To my dearest royal cousin. I am sure any failure of mine will bring her joy. Oh, my head feels funny. My grandfather, or maybe my great-grandmother, put this bottle in the family cellar. So why did it fail the sign of the illustrious Arendes in this time of need? Darren looks a bit unsteady on his feet. I don't feel very well. Hey everyone, let's go back outside. I need to get some fresh air in my lungs. You should not be running with that much alcohol, buddy. Here we are again, Commander. So let us take another glimpse into the past. A ripple of laughter flows through the hall. It begins as a sweet, charming chuckle, but then turns into a rasping cackle that makes Darren huddle even deeper into his corner. Why are you running from me, my sweet prince? Come on, let me touch you. I'll give you... The booming voice of an old man dressed in Iomadian robes shakes the walls of the hall. Get away from him, demon. Let the boy go. By the blade of the inheritor, you touch him only over my dead body. You are a pathetic old cleric. Are you the guardian of this charming little prince? Well, you guarded him in vain. The disease is already circulating in his blood, and soon he will rot before your very eyes. You won't be able to help him, and I can at least make sure his death is beautiful, clean, and sweet. The demoness turns her eyeless face to Darren and licks her lips. A coarse laugh escapes the young man's throat. We'll see about that. The Order turns towards you in astonishment. Droplets of sweat glisten on his temples. Something is wrong, Commander. My spells are not working as expected. It's as if some kind of supernatural explosion occurred here 10 years ago, blending everything together. The magical auras, the emotions, the memories. I will try to read it again. I will try again to read it. Could it be dangerous? I cannot say for certain, but it is unlikely. The past is in the past, and no one can travel through time, except for some uniquely powerful entities like Aeons, or perhaps the eldest of the First World. Even though the past of this place is horrible, it poses no threat to us in the present. Okay. Just give me a moment to focus. I will try to channel my visions and feelings to you as accurately as possible. Darren, my boy, what is going on? The Ultra's muscular shoulders suddenly begin to shake. The vision he is channeling does not change, but you feel something enormous and chilling silently infiltrating the reality around you. The presence of this nameless being becomes almost palpable. Some alien entity is talking to him. Hurry, old cleric, stop him right now. Do you really want to see what happens when... Save me, can you save me? The presence thickens into something more tangible. The entity is silent, but you feel your blood pulsing in your temples, and each beat brings a new image, or rather, a new notion. Help brings a feeling of relief and safety. Exchange makes the pulse stronger, more demanding. Gate and secret come immediately after. The images become heavier, almost visible. Secret. Keep the secret. Otherwise, death. 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 The gruesome images whirl through your mind, filling it with pain and fear, and then it all starts again. Help. Exchange. Secret. Death. What the hell is going on? Nestrin stretches out a shaking hand, suddenly looking like a doddering old man instead of a mighty cleric imbued with holy power. Darren, wait! The thing you're about to let loose is even worse than these demons! Darren's body is quivering like a taut bowstring. His eyes dart from the cleric to the demoness, who's frantically casting protective spells. Demons, saints, I'm so fed up with all of you. Burn. And the Ultra's dead. What the fuck? What did the boy do? The Ultra opens his eyes with a groan, then gets back on his feet. His legs are wobbly, his eyebrow is cut, but he seems not to notice. Sincere sorrow is written on his face, as well as a strong hint of horror. What a misfortune. No, what a disaster. Everything is far worse than I imagined. Are you alright? The strain, the emotions, they overwhelmed me and made me faint like an agitated youngster. It is nothing really. I will not be able to cast any spells for the rest of the day, but aside from that, I'm fine. Do you understand what happened? The Inquisitor slowly exhales through clenched teeth and says in a low voice, still massaging his temples, yes and no. Damn it. My thoughts are astray. I will try to explain everything to you in full detail. Many living things are capable of performing the most extraordinary feats, good or bad, when a deadly threat looms over them. 10 years ago, the young Count found himself cornered in every sense of the word, and he allowed some alien entity to intercede for him. It frightens me that all my experience as an Inquisitor is completely useless in this case. It does not resemble anything I've ever heard or read about. This entity, I think I will call it the Other, possesses uncanny power. It was capable of instantly killing 3 greater demons, a mighty cleric, and a host of other mortals. You saw everything yourself. What's even worse is that this entity, this Other, it is still here. The Ultra takes a long pause. His gaze is drawn to the chamber where all the guests are laughing and dancing. Darren's eloquent voice rises above the music for a moment. He's asking someone to bring more wine and add more logs to the fire. I don't know what exactly this creature is, but I know what it did to the Count. It turned him into a living gateway. The Other is not inside the Count's body. It is not directly controlling his mind. That's why there are no obvious signs of possession. But it is looking through his eyes. It treats him like a window into our world, and it can instantly step through to wreak havoc, or to wreak whatever havoc it desires. Does Darren know anything about this? Yes, of course he does. Did you hear what the Other tried to convey to us? Help in exchange for a secret. death. Death to those who know the truth. It wants to have an opportunity to use the Count as a gateway without anyone knowing. This is what made Daron deny that he remembered anything about the conclusion of the events at Heaven's Edge. What do you think it might want? This is the strangest thing about it all. It came to this world 10 years ago, and it's still here, right? All this time it has been watching us through the eyes of the Count. Had it, for instance, wanted to kill Her Majesty the Queen, it would have had plenty of opportunities to do so. The Count can get close to practically every influential figure in Mendev, but the other refuses to act, or its interests lie in some other sphere. So did the other kill everyone then? The disease was not to blame? Not everyone, just Nestrin, his paladins, and a few remaining guests. Damn it. I know that it was the work of a mysterious omnipotent entity, but it still stings. I was here 10 years ago, and I didn't check everything personally, and those who did failed to sense that something was wrong. Could the other be the reason why my companions kept finding severed heads among their belongings back in Canabras? It seems very likely. I am almost certain you are right. People tend to lose their heads when they get too close to Count Arinde anyway. Huh. I do apologize, that was inappropriate. Perhaps your gruesome findings are the heads of some cultists who tried to kidnap the Count during the Canabras' slaughter? Or perhaps they provoked the other in some other way. Well, we gotta do something. Yes. Now I understand Father Nestrin perfectly. I must make a crucial decision despite a dearth of information. The Inquisitor falls silent for a while, then he looks at you right in the eye. Commander, first and foremost, I must apologize to you. Second, I must ask you to keep this secret. What are you sorry for? I apologize for dragging you into this mess. You see, the other, an entity of immense power, stated very clearly that it would kill anyone who found out the truth. Anyone who knows that the Count is actually its living gateway. I suppose this secret is currently known to 3 people on Galarian. You, me, and Count Daron. And that means... Yeah. That means some omnipotent alien being with immense power will kill me if I tell anybody. Why am I even asking this question? I know why we should keep it a secret. As soon as the Count finds out that we know his secret, the other will understand it as well. We do not know what it is and what exactly is the scope of his powers, but we do know that it will dispose of anyone who might reveal its existence. I've made a decision. I will not tell anyone about the discovery we've just made, not even the Queen or my superiors. Instead, I will immediately go to Neurosian and sift through all the archives of the Inquisition in order to find out what exactly we are dealing with and how it can possibly be defeated. I may also make some cautious inquiries in other places, including Absalom. Still, I will not reveal the truth until I have found at least some reliable information. I'm asking you to do the same. Specifically, do not say a single word about our investigation to the Count himself. Listen, not that hard to do, you know? I'm fine. I'm not even going to say this one. Yeah, okay. So what are you going to do with Daron himself? At the very least, he's guilty of letting the other enter our world. Right now, I am a lot more concerned about the other, but when we find a way to get rid of this entity, the Count will have to stand trial. Many things about this case are still unclear, including the extent of his guilt. Did he call upon the other by himself, or did he simply answer its call? Could he refuse its offer, or would it have led to his immediate death? Every detail is important, and every testimony needs solid proof. That is the difference between righteous justice and blind vengeance. I will keep it a secret. You've made the right choice. I recommend that you go back to our guests and spend the rest of the evening as you please. Anything else might raise suspicions. I must leave immediately in search of the knowledge we all need so desperately. Farewell, Commander. May the light of Iomade guide your path, and the Oter Hawkblade will try to keep your path to triumph clear of any unwanted guests. Well, that's scary. Huh. Ember, did you hear any of that? He was afraid to come here. Makes sense. Outrageous debauchery.
There are many roads.
It's outrageous, I tell you. You're the very best guest I could wish for? Hmm. What? Hope this travesty is finally over.
I will guide.
No, I'm not gonna have you check that. So I guess we just leave, right? Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay. Well. That's scary. Sickened for an hour. Because he drank too much. Interesting. Alright, friends, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We found out that Cthulhu is hanging out around Count Darren's, so that's great. Alright, I'll see you all in the next episode. We'll see what happens. Take care, everybody!